Perfect. You don't want to forget the recording. We're going to get started in about 2 minutes here, but as we do, kind of take note on how you feel and your room feels around you. And you will want a paper and a pen. And this is going to be a lot to cram in an hour. So I might do a few more in the future to tag along. Welcome. Now we have a couple more joining. I'm going to take a sip because I know as soon as I start talking, I'm not going to stop. That was more like 3 guzzles. Energy drink. Love those. Okay. So good to see you. I'm always interested to see who's drawn to this. And I love it. And it's so funny because I knew this workshop was coming up today. It's like everything that happened, my husband kept saying, it's because you're doing chaos magic. And I'm like, stop that. So I'm going to get started. I don't even know where to begin. Well, first, I would like to begin with a little bit of history. I think a little bit of history on learning about things is super important. First off, chaos magic is not something that is like super ancient, even though it's a combination of many teachings and traditions and cultures that are ancient. And it was a gentleman named Austin Osmar Spare. And he is known as the father of chaos magic. He was an English artist and an occultist. And he was known to draw art during his time, would have been like shocking, because he drew images that has a lot of influence, symbolism of like monstrous sexual imagery. So he was born in like the 1886s, and chaos magic came out about the 1970s. But in that time, this gentleman is also the person that created automatic writing. He also created automatic drawing. And the magic of sigils is, you know, I wouldn't say it is from him because I know lots of traditions and magic that is way before his time, but sigilization and his theories came into practice. So through the years and the evolvement of chaos magic, there has been lots of magicians and people who practice it. So I want to get into a little bit, well, what is chaos magic? First off, before I get into what chaos magic is, and welcome to those who are just popping on. Chaos magic is connected to those who are very strong-minded. So if you are very strong-minded, okay, if you are a know-it-all, and I mean that in a spiritual way, right? Like everybody thinks, you know, all of our psychic abilities, but the mind is like the no-no. Well, chaos magic is all about the mind. And that's what I love about it, because it represents a focus of life. And so if you're strong-minded, if you have the gift of knowing, and you just know things, you don't know how, or you're able to hold energy and control energy, and if you always have shit going on, then you are probably connected to chaos magic. And I love it. So a little bit more about chaos magic. So chaos magic is known as a magical practice that uses the mind and the subconscious. So many of you have heard me talk about the conscious mind, the subconscious, right? Our higher self, our masculine and feminine minds. Well, then when they work together, you've heard me talk about superconscious. So this is similar to that. Chaos magic is drawing energy, and it is also known as result-based magic and success magic. And we emphasize our magic to the attainment of specific results. And we do that by using symbolism, ritual, and other ornamental aspects of ritual. So it is described as a union of traditional occult techniques as well as modern techniques. But this chaos magic has to do with your belief system. So you have to create your chaos magic as your belief system, creating your own magical system, but using frequency and borrowing techniques from other traditions. So Wiccans will use chaos magic, right? Gnostics will use chaos magic. Golden Dawn ceremonial practice uses chaos magic. And I want to get a little bit more into it because it represents the existence that we have, divinity in us, our absolute truth. And that there are certain practices and beliefs that we want to bring into our lives. So it's like a self-mastery is what it is. But we're using the self-mastery as a supernatural force in our daily life. So I look at chaos magic like it is a psychological magic. It's magic of the mind, okay? And it's really interesting because the word chaos was used as the definition of chaos is the thing. I love it, right? That's what chaos means, the thing, right? So now just a minute. Now, as I say that, think about the last chaotic thing that happened, right? So people that practice chaos magic would represent expressing a certain psychological frequency to overpower it, okay? And I'm gonna get into a little bit more about that. But when we get into chaos magic, you know, think about traditions like Wicca, right? People who are Wiccan believe in a way and a certain type of mastery of attainment. Same with the Kabbalah, right? That is a mastery religion. Same with the Golden Dawn. So it all has to do with bringing about change in our attitude and the way we think. Okay, and there's several ways to do that. So chaos magic is believed to have been brought out for desire. Okay, and it's desire magic. So kind of, you know, some of you who have been in training with me know that that's kind of what I preach is about desire. But what we believe is when we are manifesting and creating this, that's chaos magic, because chaos magic is a meta belief. It's a belief that we are the tool for achieving effects. Okay, so we will use angelic energy, we'll use astrology, we'll use different universal laws or different gods or goddesses, whatever it is that will help our result. And we believe in the logical mind and the hidden mind, the absolute divine self mind working together. So I believe that the things that I want in my life, my spirit wants, right? As above, so below. And I actually will, how do you say this? I actually will compare the things that I want and desire. Is it truly for me? Or is it just for Georgina? If you know what I mean. So chaos magic is about living your absolute truth and having a position of power that we can use to create the reality of life. And one of the phrases of magic that we believe in is nothing is true, but everything is permitted. There is no truth. The only truth there is your own. I mean, there's lots of people believe in religions, that's fine. But even when it comes to religion, everybody would view Christ differently. Okay? So our belief system is a tool in our magic. So remember, write that one down. Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. And some people are scared of that. Because think about it. You know, if I wanted, 70 million, some people would think that is evil. And I'm like, well, I know, 70 people I'd give $1 million to, or, whatever. Everybody has their own baseline, their own boundaries. And our boundaries is what is very magical for us, whether we're supposed to break them or honor them. So when we are focusing on our daily life, we believe that as we walk, there is a magical influence. There's a magical system and a magical life. And all of this energy, this magical energy, is a form of psychic energy. So chaos magic is using psychic energy. And a lot of times we will use psychic energy that feels like it got locked up. Okay, like we do. Think about all of the things, right, that come into our being until we can't handle it anymore. We want to freak out. Well, instead of freaking out, I do magic. And I hold what I want until it breaks down into a connection that I have to the spirit world. Okay. And so we believe that the things that we want, and as we walk our path of spirit, we are invoking spirits. Our life is a conjuration. of gods, of spheres, of chaos. So there's two things that are known. There's Kia and chaos. And those are things that you want to use together. Those terms, so you all know what Kia, the car, K-I-A. Well, when we say Kia, or we hold a candle, or repeat Kia 3 times, that represents our universal mind. But our individual human connection to the universal mind. How amazing is that to know that you have that? If you take a look at that huge universal mind, your connection to it is very purposeful. The energy of who you are. And so we use Kia to connect to the universal mind. And that represents a passage to our subconscious mind. That one word. So every time you see a Kia drive by, it's a passage for you to the universal mind, which means there is symbolism and that you are meant to be free in your belief to feed your desire. And when we feed our desire, we can grow. And when we feed our desires and magic, we grow unconsciously because it's out in the universe. So think about full moons, okay? When we do our full moons, how many times do you write the same thing on your paper? Well, I do every single month until I attain it. There's things I've been asking for 20 years, right? Well, that is chaos magic. We feed into the thing that we want to believe, our desire, so that we know that it's growing unconsciously into an obsession. And that obsession creates magical results that occurs in our reality. So Kia refers to our power in the universal mind. I'm going to take you a little further. So chaos is a force in which we are trying to resolve ourselves out of dust, out of nothingness. But we are concentrating on manifesting our human life force, our Kia. That's our power. And to accomplish it, there's a few models that we need to connect to. One of them is a spiritual model, right? Like the job of the shaman is to communicate their intentions to their spirit helpers, who then work on the magic of their behalf, right? And those in the sacred circle know that when we're lighting up and invoking the powers of the north, south, east, or west, those spirit helpers that we're invoking are the ones that are carrying out our intentions. So we're already doing that. And then there's an energy model where the magician directs their own energy, so their own prana, their own chi, towards what they want. When I'm focusing on stuff, it's the first thing I think about in the morning and the last thing I think about before I go to sleep. And when I brush my teeth and get ready in the mirror, I'm doing this. I'm invoking symbols in my mirror. And it works for me. Because that energy model is what magicians or people that practice magic, that's what we do to direct the energy towards our specific goal. And for some people, full moon is that time, right? I do magic every day on something. And I love it. It's just like, my way, what should I do magic on today? And it's fun. All it does is, light up my incense and inspire me for whatever work I'm doing. But then within chaos, there is also a psychological magic where we use symbols to condition our unconscious work towards our goals. And that's where sigils come in. And sigils were one of the most powerful tools in chaos magic. They invoke spirit, but actually they created spirit, and they were known as portals. So we have that psychological magic within us. And then there's the magic of knowledge. And that is when we use the information we want and need in order to produce specific events or effects. So for me, if I'm doing money magic, I got the green candle burning, I got the herbs burning, I'm wearing patchouli with pheromones, because it's awesome. I mean, I do it all, right? It affects me on all of those levels. There's my body, mind, and spirit. So let's get a little more into it, okay? I was like, I hope that they don't think this is all boring, but I could talk about this forever. Okay, so where do we begin? We're going to do a ritual too. I can't wait to do this. I'm going to teach you how to call in these powers as well. Let me see. Okay. So, welcome. So if you do want a copy of this, you should get one. So anyone on this gets a copy. Okay, so first let's go into the world of magic, okay? You have to be open to magic. And magic represents an all-embracing system that we can personally control and continually feed until we receive the change. And the chaos that is against us is the opposite. It is an all-embracing system of social and powerless energy to affect change. So magic is about change. Magic is about changing our circumstances so that we can strive to live according to what our personal wholeness is. And as we do that, we develop a sense of personal responsibility. And that just happens. But we can actually affect and change anything around us if we choose to. And we have to believe that we are not helpless, that there is clockwork and patterns in the universe, and that all acts of personal or collective liberation, things that set us free, are magical acts. That's how I see it. And magic leads us to freedom, wholeness, and to insight and understanding, and to changing ourselves in the world and what we're participating in. And it affects us every single day. So some of the things that are important for us in chaos magic is to learn the inner planes of existence and connect to those, as well as occult truths that we forget that are around the world, never stopping 24 hours a day. You know, in this day and age, all of the mysterious and magic has been misplaced. And so it's tough because we're learning through languages that are dead. We're looking for tombs for knowledge, right? So much lost. And that's one of my chaos things. I get very angry at how power has changed our history, all because they were the ones that won, or they were the ones that were rich. So chaos magic is the search for secret knowledge and your own spiritual enlightenment. And it's known as becoming a level of the magus. And ceremonial people will call it the 99th level. And it is something that many spiritualists and magicians go for. So the first thing that you do in chaos magic, I'm going to give you the steps of what an initiate has to learn and master. Okay, so the first one means to disentangle yourself from attitudes and restrictions. And you will be, and as you're doing that, as you're disentangling and getting rid of attitudes that you've had, or I'm never going to be with a blonde person, and I'm never going to, get rid of these attitudes. Okay. As you do that, you'll recognize those around you that also have them. So a means to disentangle yourself from attitudes and restrictions that you put upon yourself or that you were brought up with, define the limits of what you can become. So the first part is shedding yourself of limitations. You are free. And when you recognize your limitation, you break it. Number 2 are ways to examine your life, to look for. So the ways you examine your life. So to look for, understand, and modify behavior, emotional and thought patterns that are hindering our learning and growth. You get to be your own teacher. Number 3 is increase of confidence and as well personal charisma. In magic, it is very important for us to work with our ego. Our ego is the connection of our mind and our subconscious mind. And if we can tame our ego and let our ego know it's safe, then your ego becomes a very powerful guiding system. And I love my ego. Okay. I shouldn't say that, but I do. Like, I seriously, when I look at the way my ego used to be and the way my ego is now, I love everything. Why not? I'm doing it for myself. That's why I'm here. Everyone's going to benefit. But our ego is also our personal charisma. So we need to increase our confidence and charisma by connecting to our ego and understanding that that ego is like one of our most powerful guiding systems when it's tame, when it's not feeding you fear, when it's not feeding you doubt. It begins to guide you. All of a sudden, its mouth is watering to like bless your path. But we have to break through our onion and tame it and work with it. Number 4, widening our perception of what is possible. And you need to do this once you set your heart and mind on something. So when it comes to what you want, narrow-minded, okay? Like I said, if I'm manifesting something, which I'm always doing, it's like if you're not manifesting something, and it can be anything. It can be knowledge, it can be money, it can be a boyfriend, it can be anything. But always have something that you want to manifest. Hold it in your mind. So when we widen our perception of the possibility, and it's easier to set our heart and mind on it. And I know that when I'm carrying something in my heart and mind, it's a direct, puppet string to the universe saying, this is what I want. So we have to train our minds to go for what we want and hold that. The fifth one is to develop personal abilities. So personal abilities have to do with our skills and our perceptions. The more we appreciate the world and the people, the more we appreciate what is alive. And 6, to have fun. Magic is meant to be enjoyed. Even if you're doing like hex breaking and serious magic, oh my gosh, I have so much fun. When I am clearing up bullshit, it's like I feel like all of a sudden, these different witches come out of me. Okay, it's like when I do my healing magic, all of a sudden I'm like the perfect angel. When I do my cleansing magic, it's like, dark highlighter. No, I'm just kidding. But you feel differently with different aspects of magic because you're connecting to that power. So we want to develop personal abilities. What's your healing thing? What's your psychic thing? And have fun with it. The 7th is to bring about change in accordance to will. And that is always the biggest test when it comes to initiation in many occult practices. So if you can bring about change according to your will, then you're known as someone with gifts. And magic can do all of this and more. It's an approach to life that begins with the most basic premises. What do you need to survive? How do you want to live? Who do you want to be? And what weapons and techniques can you achieve this? So it is psychological. And when you think of chaos magic, most people think of the word as chaos as like the Tower card, right? But when it comes to magicians and people that practice magic, chaos represents a state of things in which chance is possible. And it also represents to us an unorganized state of primordial matter before it is created into something, or a confused state. Sometimes chaos is like a confused state. Where does that energy need to be directed? So anytime something chaotic happens, where does that energy need to be directed? And claim that and send it. And the other thing is, there's agents of chaos. There's spirits of chaos. And they are people and spirits that are capable of getting rid and honing chaotic power. So think about the things that were chaotic and how you changed it. Because one of the main beliefs in chaos magic is that one must have chaos in one to give birth to a dancing star. They believed that we were all a star and that the heavens were limitless. The other thing is that matter is illusion. Solidity is illusion. So the belief is that we're an illusion and that only chaos is real. I mean, you could think about that and have a whole conversation for a long time about that. Okay. It's pretty interesting. So chaos is all and more. It's a term that means something different for everyone. And none of us can ignore chaos. And it's over since the 1970s when chaos magic became something. It was also to become a type of revolution in thought and method. And it was a new form of magic and science that was also trying to pull away from the Wiccan beliefs. Okay, so chaos magic actually originated in Britain, Yorkshire area. That's my ancestry. It's okay if you don't know what happened. So it's pretty interesting, but it also created a huge controversy, because if you were to Google chaos magic, you're going to get all kinds of crap. It's a dark power, it's satanic, it's Luciferianism, and it's bullshit. So the four principles, there's some core principles in chaos magic that I want to share. And this is a magical system that is used as a map, like a spiritual and physical universe, your tree of life. Okay, here's the core principles to approach this magic. Number one, avoid dogmatism. So it's true though. I mean, it makes sense. Chaos magicians strive to avoid falling into dogmatism unless it is part of a temporary belief system they have entered. So they feel entitled to change their minds. We can contradict ourselves. We can come up with arguments that are totally implausible or plausible. We believe that the energy is what is right. And there's nothing wrong with being wrong. There's some fucked up shit out there. I do some fucked up shit sometimes. So like, whoa. Right? We all do, but we don't have to carry that. We avoid carrying that. Number two is our personal experience. Personal experience is paramount. In other words, we don't take anybody's word as like the grain of salt. We check it out for ourselves. And magic has suffered hugely, especially in these modern days, from armchair magicians. Okay, these are people who are passing along myths and out-of-date information because they're too lazy to study and practice it themselves. And you know what? The modern stuff to me is the boring stuff. I mean, it's all repetitive. It's like, oh my God, okay, so you read, Ted Andrews, okay, wicked. Well, what about your experience when you went on a vision quest? That's real, right? That's what I believe. And so we have to really go for our own personal experience. We can listen, and we can listen to myths and read different things, but it's awkward because if you don't experience your magic or your outcome and you're only listening to someone else or reading their book, you are getting into a stream of verbal diarrhea and not going anywhere unless you put it into your own truth and it works for you. But most people really don't have a clue on how they did manifest the money candle. Well, when you're paying attention to it, you would understand that as soon as that candle lit, I felt something. It hit me in the solar plexus chakra, and all of a sudden I felt like the space was clear. So chaos magic, we don't have a freaking clue on our outcome, but we thrive for it and we're excited about it. So chaos magic is a discovery that once we strip away the layers of dogma and the personal beliefs and the attitudes, magic comes about. And that leads into the third, technical excellence. So one of the early misconceptions about chaos magic was that it gave practitioners the ability to do whatever they liked. And so some became sloppy in their attitudes to their self-assessment. The chaos approach has always been about self-assessment and analysis, emphasizing our practice and the techniques that we're experimenting until we get our results that we desire. So we're learning to do magic until it takes place. And in order for magic to come about, you have to develop the set of skills and the abilities, or the blend of the herbs. Whatever it is, whether it's weird stuff or just prayer and holding it in your head, you have to find what works for us. Those who are strong-minded can simply hold these in your head. And that's what we're going to be doing pretty quick here. I'm almost done. So the next thing, okay, so we were talking about self-assessment. The next thing is deconditioning, and I kind of went into that. But the chaos paradigm proposes that one of the primary tasks is to decondition ourselves from beliefs and attitudes and fictions, the things that we believe about ourselves. Now we want to walk in connection to our higher self. Our ego is a fiction of stable energy that is trying to keep us safe. But we need to turn that, change the distraction so that you become what you are. So our distinction is what I am and what I am not. Think about that. More people live their life holding on to the things they do not want than the things that they want. Most people will live their daily life thinking and holding protection over the things they don't want to happen when they should be doing the opposite, right? Thinking about the things they want to happen and trusting that they are going to reveal and receive what it is that they want. So whenever you experience something that you feel that you are not, change it into what you are. You have a divine right to have any frickin' life you want. If someone has an issue with it, that's their issue. Because personally, we're all so self-limited. We are. I believe that you deserve 10 times more than what you want. There's no doubt in my heart. And we need to decondition ourselves for the experience, right? I like what I like. I'm not going to focus on what I don't like because those are distractions, right? So we want to break beliefs tonight. Break beliefs about yourself, break belief about your religion, break belief about the politics, to set yourself free and connect to the degree of free will. Because that's the basis of all magic, free will. What we pull against is what is going to go against our stability. So we need to get in touch that we are unique individuals, decoding ourselves, become less attached. The next thing is traditional approaches to magic. So you want to involve choosing some kind of magical system and sticking to it. The chaos perspective, if nothing else, encourages an eccentric approach to development and chaos. Magicians are free to choose from any available magical system. We can choose this from books, TV, religions, cults, whatever. But we are meant to delve into that. And we would actually, most people, that's why tarot is so important, because the whole journey of the Fool and the basis of tarot has to do with all of the symbology, right? And tarot was actually connected and created for chaos magic. And so we want to have some kind of approach that we can practice. What are you good at? Right? Choose an element and grow from there. Do you like candle magic? Do you like burning incense and herbs? Do you like outside? And that magical connection has to do with your approach. And that can sometimes be difficult for people to connect to their chaos, because this makes chaos difficult to pin down. Some people don't know what to choose and they're all worried about it. But if all goes wrong, you can use your mind, because that's what it is. Mind manipulation magic. That's chaos magic. The last thing before we go on is Gnosis, the Gnostic religion. One of the keys to magical ability is to be able to enter an altered state of consciousness at will. I love doing that. And once you learn how to do it, you'll want to do it as much as you can. And we tend to draw a distinct line between ordinary consciousness and altered states. And I don't mean altered states like on pot or mushrooms, okay? I mean actually getting yourself into it. So if you daydream, that's an altered state. Sometimes we go on autopilot and we're like doing our work without thinking. That's an altered state. Probably the best altered state to go into while you're in your waking day, because the universe is like doing all kinds of stuff when you're there. What about deja vus? That's an altered state. It's a sign you're on the right path. So we need to learn how to get into an altered state so that we can now focus the degree of our attention to the pattern. So as far as magic is concerned, we will the entry into the altered state. And then that goes into two different poles known as psychological gnosis and what is the other one? Inhibitory gnosis. And these are two different states. Okay, so are you ready to try it? Okay, so I'm going to teach you some chaos magic here. So I hope you have, first, I told you to get a piece of paper and a pen. And I want you, let me grab mine, to write down your name regularly. So first, let's just do first, okay? And if you want to do this later, you can do first, middle, and last, or your magical name. So write down your name normally from left to right. Just let's do the first name. Now, I want you to take your name and I want you to start backwards. So we're going to do your first letter under your last number. It's called Widdershins. And we're going to write it backwards from right to left. Okay, so you can see mine. Oh, wait. Oh, that's veggie soup. That's not my name. Sorry. Okay. See how it's separated? Okay. So now I want you to take that and I want you to do the E. We're going to start with the E next. Or your second letter, not my second letter. Take your second letter of your first name on the third row. That's how you begin. And then we're going to do the same. You're getting my drift, right? Second letter backwards, starting on the right, going left. Oh, it's getting difficult. But as you're doing this, you'll notice you can't think, but only can focus on this. And one more we're going to do. So your fifth row, we're going to do the third letter in. And so you can either do that 5 rows, or you can keep going and do 7 rows, but you want to stop it on an odd number. Now we did the 5 rows. Maybe your name's not finished, but all I want you to do is draw a box around it right now. When I'm done tonight, do this again, but do your full name back and forth until you've got all the letters. Okay, so I want you to put that right in front of you. Now, if you do have an empty candle that's not lit, a virgin. We're going to do this. And then I'm going to teach you a couple ways that you can connect to some chaos magic. Okay. So put your candle in your left hand. Now, I like to make sure that it's in my portal of power, or you can hold it like this. You can actually let's do this. Okay, and you want to look at your sigil. This is just one way to do a sigil. We can do, there's more. Okay, look at it. So this chant is something that has been used in many different cultures, and it is known as, well, I call it the so-called vowel chant. So if you know your vowels, you can do this. And actually, a lot of magicians teach this to their kids. I was like, I don't know about, little 4-year-olds getting into the Golden Dawn, but okay. Okay. So the reason why we do this is because it is known as the voice of the magician. Okay. And in the old days, it was like voces magicae, magicae. I'm not Latin. I'm not gonna speak English. But this can be found in very early texts, and it's also used later. So this is pre-Christianity. And what we want to do is we want to try to listen to our voice and go into a meditative state. And as we do this, we are encoding a sacred energy. And this is actually one of the ways the word alien came about, because it was set from a ritual, and it was known that this chant would be spoken and draw out spirits, whether we use it for prayer, baptism, or meditative journeys. Okay, and the reason why it was called an alien is because it would connect us into the journey of the pleroma, which was the spiritual universe that has all of the divine powers. Okay, so when we seek magic and when we're connecting to a higher power, we believe that there is a realm, just like the Akashic realm, where spiritual gods live, and where we can call upon any divine power we want to call on our magic. So are you ready? This is also something that has been used in a traditional old book of chaos magic, which is called the Holy Book of the Great Invisible Spirit. So when you do this chant, it is meant to call your great invisible spirit. So what we believe when we practice chaos magic is that there's the human aspect, right, of ourselves, but our higher self is like our genie. It's like our genius self. So when we do this chant, we are calling the great invisible spirit. Okay, are you ready? And I want you to use this as an experiment and try to do this for a minimum of a week. I would say traditionally you would do this for 2 months every day. Okay, now I'm going to tell you what to write down first, and then we're going to say it. So you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. Okay. The first one, eyes. So the letter I. The second one, E. The third one, O. The fourth one, U. And then we go back to E. So the fifth one is E. Then the sixth one is A. And the next one is O. Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh. Are you ready? So now I'm going to chant this, and I really am not a singer, but you need to do this. And this is part of connecting to the invisible spirit. So you can repeat with me. I know you all are lucky and have your mutes off. But if you want to unmute, feel free. And let's just do that. So hold your candle. And I have my right hand open because I like to feel the energy. I E O U O. So that's similar, okay? I'm going to do it again. Now, when you're doing this, your throat should go a little numb and you should feel something back here, okay? And then when you're getting to the second A, start paying attention to your crown, okay? So I'm going to do it again. I'm closing my eyes. I'm going to pretend you're not here. Okay, so let's try this. O U E A O. You want to make sure you feel it like down to your gut. So I would do that 3 times. And you'll know at a certain point where your voice breaks, you're there. Okay, you'll get kind of, you'll be like surprised, like that's your voice. And every time you do it, it will sound different. Sometimes it'll sound masculine. Sometimes it'll sound feminine, depending on who you're with or what magic. So when we do that, your aim is to not think. And you notice you can't really think when you're doing it. But what I love about the IEOUEAO, that's how I remember it, is not only is it something that is taken from a holy book of the ancients, but this is the chant of the mother. Okay, so traditionally, this is the chant of the mother, of the goddess. It is also known and used for the sun, so the triple male. Later, they brought that into the great Christ. So this magic was used as Christianity was being formed. And they took that chant, the mother chant, and they said, this chant will invoke the Holy Spirit of the sun. Crazy. And then they turned this text into the great Christ. So we can use it. And when we do use it, whatever great spirit comes is going to be likely connected to what your highest self is going for. So as soon as you start saying it and you feel like, even though I did it, I can still feel in here. Like, where do you feel? Sometimes it's your third eye. You want to take a note on what psychic center you feel. So when we do that, we are connecting to the highest good, but traditionally it was the highest God. And in Greek, it was used and then followed by Alpha, then Omega. So this chant later represented the Father is the beginning and the end, when it used to be the Mother is the beginning and at the end. Okay, so we did the chant. Let's light up our candle and we're almost done. So light your candle and watch it. And the reason why we did it in our left hand, not our right, is because we want to invoke that power. Chaos magic is all about invoking. So now that you have your candle, or you can look at mine, I want you to say, I am one. I am one, as above, so below. And then I want you to say, AEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEEeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeee AEIOU. And that actually represents bringer of the light. AEIOU. Bringer of the light. That's what it means. So before we go, let me make sure I didn't miss anything. And if you have any questions, you can unmute or click. Let me see. So yeah, you know, basically it is chaos magic is learning to know, right, yourself and what you want, your own religion, communicating with that. Make sure I'm not missing something. And if not, I'm going to be pulling some magic cards. So if you did find this interesting, think about joining the Sigil class, because I'm going really deep into that. Some people are going to have their paint, some people are going to have markers and everything. We're going to have fun. I can't wait to see what comes out of that. And I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything else. If you do want to look more into chaos magic, you're mainly going to find results on Aleister Crowley. And a lot of people have a bad vibe with him. I really connect to his stuff because I understand what he was trying to do. One of his books, the Goetia, is a book of all of the creatures that he created and worked with. And some people look at it and they're like, demons. I look at it and I say, oh, earth, air, fire, water, spirit creature. Wow, that looks good. What did he want to get with that? Right? I mean, we are creating creatures when we invoke the elements. You know, when we are creating this, everything that we desire and need and want has a spirit to it. So a lot of people don't understand that. And the old practice of witchcraft and chaos magic, there was lots of sex magic. So of course, if you look into chaos magic, it's going to go into tantra. I mean, things were different back then. And as people developed and grew and created their own morals, things changed. So I hope you enjoy this. Yes.
I have two questions.
Okay.
When you were giving the list to chaos magic, the first one, what was the word that you said? I didn't quite catch it.
Was it the first, like I did 2 lists, the one in the beginning?
First principle, what was the word? Yes,
Ugh. Disentangle?
disentangle, thank you.
We want to disentangle ourselves.
Okay.
And you
so-
know, just listening to this stuff, you're going to recognize when we are. So I hope you found it interesting. And I do want to do more of it too, because it is something that I enjoy. But let's see what your second one is.
Second one, Aleister Crowley, it is the newer stuff, the first stuff he put out better than the last stuff?
I
that he
do
put-
believe so, yeah. Yeah, like all his early books are good. Of course, you're gonna get some weird stuff because he was weird. But I really resonate with his stuff personally. Some of his books, there's even some books that I can't even say. You're not supposed to even mention the names of them. But he believed in true will magic. And so that's one of the reasons why I connect with him, because I believe in that. He also ties in Hinduism, Buddhism, as well as Egyptian magic. So imagine all of those connected and what he put into practice for his magic. And that's why I like it. For me, I use all kinds of different traditions, right? So I can see what he was doing. So yeah, check it out. And see, I would be interested in what you think of his work. So he is, you can look at the Golden Dawn, you can look at the Book of Law, and then of course the holy books of of Thelma, which is also known as Theleia, is how you're supposed to say it, Theleia. And that magic is also amazing. Theleia magic is awesome. And which is spelled Thelma, Thelema. And that magic comes about, I guess, early Christianity, I would have to say. I would have to say later. Thelma magic is connected to, what am I thinking? It's connected to Aleister Crowley. So we're looking at the early 1900s is when it all started to come about. One of my favorite people that were known for chaos magic is Jane Wolfe, and it's Wolfe. And she was actually a famous celebrity, but she is one of my favorite. And she was connected. She was a founding member of Aleister Crowley's in the temple out of California. So yeah, look into it. If you have any questions, let me know. But let's do our chaos magic right now. So I'm gonna pull cards on all of you, and then I'm gonna let you go. So we always have some form of chaos. And that form of chaos can affect us in many different ways, right? So what is up in your life? That's what we want to focus our chaos magic on. So let's go. First person, I'm just looking at my little list here. Carolyn, I'm going to pull a card for your chaos magic right now. What is it all about? Financial health. So your chaos magic has to do with your finances and your stability, your career. Focus on that. I got goosebumps. Okay, Carissa, let's see what your chaos magic is all about. Okay, goosebumps again on the side, and that was so cool about the leprechaun. See, inspiration. I mean, that's pretty general. But you're supposed to use your chaos magic with something that you want. I feel like it's more about your passion So let me see what that means. Give me one more thing about her. Inspiration, compassion. So I feel artistic healing, some kind of healing is involved in that. And inspiration, that makes sense, is where your prosperity is. So yours is business too. On the side, it is. Okay, Heather, let's see your chaos magic. So try doing that chant. I know at first you feel weird, but when you actually connect to it and you know that's the voice of spirit, you're walking a new path. And you know what? People get used to it. My husband is used to the weirdest sounds coming out of manifestation, Heather. Look at this. So your chaos magic is manifesting something right now. So hold it. Remember, think of what you're manifesting day and night. Okay. Pensive. I like saying that. See your chaos magic. What is it? Oh, I got goosebumps on my ribs. Oh, it dropped. Trust. Okay, I'm going on. Trust is not it. I get that. And I think you are really good for trust. Let's see. What? You got the same card during the money magic class? I don't even remember. Okay, trust what, Patty? Blessings. Trust blessings. So yours is meant to be blessings. Your chaos magic is receiving good stuff. I love that. And we're not leaving yet. I got Terry. Let's see what your magic is. It better be good. Come on. Chaos magic for Terry. Lynn, what is it? Oh, that one dropped too. Reconciliation. Look at that. I mean, okay, to me, that means there's two different realms in play. So I feel like there's a balancing act, maybe because of too much self-sacrifice. Like, I really get that. So reconciliation, I want more. So let me just pull another card of what for you. You got fertility. So just a minute, that means this is perfect for now because it actually means creating something new out of what your reconciliation has to do with. So I'm going for one more. There's a creation, a force at work. How is it going to influence your life? Protection. So I think, okay, put those three together in your magic: reconciliation, creation, and protection. So some of the ways that we practice that we can get connected to our chaos magic is there's something called the cut up technique. And this is when we actually have written words. So we write out a whole bunch of words, or you can take a page out of a book and cut it up, and you rearrange the words to create a message. Now, some people will do it without looking, or others will actually look at all the words and see what sentence comes together. So you can do either or. I tend to like to put it in a bag and pull things out until I have something that makes sense. You can also do the cut up technique and create your own oracles with words that you want to create in your chaos magic. So that is actually a technique that the initiates had to actually master. And it was used to get either single words or phrases from the spirit. And it was known as a Dadaist, Dadaist. And I believe that that is an old word that had to do with a type of spirit or a poem. The other thing you can do to practice chaos magic is a form of divination. Because when we divine, we are redirecting our focus and energy. And we're using pseudoscientific power to find answers. And it's actually connected, divination is connected to the water realm to the west. So divination, pulling cards, foreseeing and predicting and prophecy is an occult practice where we are coming into contact with the supernatural spirit. Okay, and so that is a form of chaos magic. The other one is the egregore. Egregore, so EGREGORE. So EGRE EGREGORE. And that is the symbol for chaos magic. And I will put that on the video so you can see it. But this symbol represents wakeful. So it represents a rising power, or it represents connecting to angelic beings or watchers that are specific to our ritual or practice. And that is also connected to Enochian magic. So some of you in the angel class will learn more of that. But we use this sigil as a psychic manifestation, or it helps our thought form when we're using the symbol so that we can manifest what we want. And it's pretty interesting. So I will send that, and I want you to try to use that symbol, just like you stared at your sigil, your name. I want you to do the same thing with that symbol when you get it. And that is meant to invoke a great secret. So just carry that symbol around for 3 days. You can draw it on a piece of paper, carry it, just see what it does, what happens. So that is actually a form of practice, is using that symbol in it. The other thing is using herbs to alter your perception or mood, and creating it. Do you burn your name? You can carry it for protection, or you can burn it. If you're going to burn it, add another symbol onto it that you want. So a heart, or a snake for health and protection. Invocations. So the act of invoking spirit, summoning a spirit, they use demons too, or gods and gods or goddesses, or any type of supernatural spirit. When we invoke, that is chaos magic. As well as Hia, we talked about, which is part of the symbol that I'm going to send you. And the other thing is scrying. When we scry, we're actually seeing or peeping into a whole other realm. And that is something that will also help with your magic, as well as sigils. So the symbols of magic that we use. But the most important thing to watch for daily life is synchronicity. So when synchronicities happen or coincidences happen, chaos magic is in play. and it is known as synchromysticism. And that is the practice when we pay attention to mystical occurrences, to our mundane coincidences. And it's actually synchronicity. People think, you know, some people are skeptics about it, but it was actually something that was known as a phenomena. So if you had a synchronistic event, I mean, that was one of the biggest spiritual or metaphysical things that could happen. Nowadays, it's like, oh, it was just a coincidence. Back then, it was like, whoa, you just experienced the divine. You're a healer, right? You should be a preacher. So synchronicity is something that is actually chaos magic. It's a sign of chaos magic, and it means that there is a meaningful thing happening, that chaos is manifesting. That's a really good sign. And I think that is it. I don't think I'm missing anything. We talked about the shamanism, the spirit, yep, the functions of that. Yeah, I think that's it. Does anyone have any questions? I hope you get the feel of what it is. And I feel like all of you, using your mind and holding certain powers, have been doing that. So use your gift of knowing and tap into that truth and do your vowels and make shit happen. I love that. So, hey, isn't that what they taught us in school? AEIOU. Like, how magical is that, hey? Like, creepy. No, I'm just kidding. I love it. So try that and let me know what you're manifesting, how you like it, what coincidences. I always like feedback. Remember, Kia, all that as well. So listen to this again, take notes, and have some chaos magic in your life. I'll let you go. Many blessings to you. Take care.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.